Hey guys, Sam right here, back again with another video, and today we're going to talk about rivals. Yes, rivals in Pokemon games are often there to challenge the player. Whether or not they do a good job of that is a whole different video. But they're often there to challenge the player and make us feel like our best selves. They offer a good challenge and sometimes a good story. Pokemon has taken some of the game rivals and put them in the anime. Rivals like Gary have been in the anime since its beginning and have been remained as fan favorites. However, there are some game rivals who have yet to make a debut, such as characters like Wally and Silver. And these characters are fan favorite among the community. While they have been in the manga, the anime has yet to touch upon these characters. While there are characters who are lightly based off these characters, such as Paul or Sawyer, we haven't actually gotten a true form of these characters. One character who has gotten none of these kind of treatments is Hugh. Hugh was a rival of the Black and 2 games in the 5th generation. While the Black and 2 games were being released, this was the time of Black and White 2nd season, and I understand why they didn't put Hugh in. Hugh would have been too last minute of a rival, and for those of you trying to say, oh wait, but we had Cameron, no, he doesn't count. However, Hugh was one of the more interesting characters introduced in the 5th generation games. I found his rival story very interesting, and while it could get silly at times with him and his sister's Perlin, I always wondered what if they put him into the Decalore Islands, as that arc of the anime did introduce a lot of stuff like Charon. And even though Charon wasn't a part of the Decalore Islands, I still count that as one big arc in the anime, so that's probably why I counted it as that. But Charon was introduced, but Hugh wasn't, so I was always wondering what if Hugh was in the anime, whether or not he's in the main series or not. So actually, let's replace Cameron and put Hugh into the anime, and maybe we'll all think the Unova League is better for it. But anyways, let's get started with the video. This is what if Hugh was in the Pokemon anime. So first off, let's start with where Ash would meet Hugh. While my original draft for this story was some Decalore Islands kind of mashup plot, I decided to still go with that, but have Hugh be introduced instead of Cameron in Cameron's debut episode. Instead of Hugh forgetting to get his 8th gym badge, him and Ash would most likely meet in a very silly way, as the same way Ash and Bianca usually meet up with each other, with Bianca bumping into each other. However, Hugh would most likely meet Ash by them bumping into each other at the Pokemon Center. Hugh would most likely recognize Ash from the multiple club battles he's taking place in, whether this be the Club Explosion or the club tournaments that he frequently takes part in, or even the recently Junior Cup that he just took part in. Hugh would most likely recognize Ash from that, and says that he's a big fan of Ash's matches. Hugh doesn't come across as a jerky rival. He's more of a driven rival who's still the main protagonist's friend. He would actually be a lot like Ash in terms of his attitude. Ash probably would thank Hugh for the compliment, and naturally they would spark up a conversation. Hugh says that he's on his way to the Humalao gym, of course this being the 8th gym in the Black and White 2 games, because they wanted some promotion. But however, they do decide to have a battle, because this is Ash and this is Hugh. They're gonna fight at least at one point or another. So Ash would most likely lead off this battle with his Oshawott. And then Hugh would also call his Oshawott. Yes, I'm putting 2 Oshawotts in this story and nobody can stop me. So the battle goes underway. This battle is pretty intense from the beginning. Both Oshawotts are putting together moves that you would typically see on an Oshawott. However, Hugh's Oshawott has a couple of different moves. He has moves that you would commonly see on a Duat. Hugh's Oshawott has moves like Razor Shell, Fury Cutter, Revenge, and Aqua Jet. This is the moveset you would typically see on a Duat in the middle of a playthrough. Ash's Oshawott having no real counter to these moves other than Razor Shell and Aqua Jet. Ash's Oshawott actually ties with Hugh's Oshawott, as Hugh's Oshawott and Ash's Oshawott are still going to be around a similar level, but Hugh's Oshawott does have a superior moveset. After this battle, they still maintain their good strong friendship, but instead of Ash accompanying him to the Humalao City gym and them getting separated, Hugh goes on his own way. They wouldn't meet up again until probably most likely the league itself. Now the league would probably function the same as the beginning. Ash would likely be Trip, and all the battles would go around the same until we get to Bianca and Cameron, or in this case, Bianca and Hugh. Now Bianca uses a very similar strategy that she did in the beginning, using Escavalier's self-defense, or Iron Defense, Iron Defense, to harden itself so hard that normal attacks don't do anything. However, Oshawott in retaliation of this gets worn out and activates Torrent, and is able to cut through the Iron Defense, thus securing Hugh the victory. The next round after this would be Ash vs Stefan. Now Ash vs Stefan would still carry out the same way it did in canon. I see nothing wrong with that battle, and it's probably one of the better battles in Best Wishes. So we can keep that battle practically the same. Now for Hugh's battle for the second round, it's non-specified who Cameron went up against in order to face Ash, so Will can choose one of the characters of the day that keep on reappearing, so it doesn't really matter, but he would win this match. And the next match would be between Ash and Hugh. It's a 6v6 battle between these two trainers. Now these two trainers are psyched for this battle. In fact, both trainers will do the thing of when it's the morning before their battle and they're psyching up their Pokemon to go do this battle. I think this is a good time to give Hugh's full team. Now Hugh's full team would be taken if the trainer chose Tepig because Ash had a Pignite, so it's technically his strongest starter. Hugh's full team is Oshawott, of course, Unpheasant, Simisage, Bufalon, Electros, and Flygon. This team is a team I could see a Unova trainer using in the anime. It isn't too far-fetched to see someone actually use this team, and I could see someone going to the league with it. So the battle goes underway, and very similar to Cameron in the original continuity, 2 also has a secret weapon being a Flygon. Flygon is still a very powerful Pokemon regardless if it's a pseudo-legendary or not. Ash still relies on Bulldor in this case, and I think Bulldor would go a bit farther since it's not a pseudo-legendary, but still would remain unable to battle by the end of it, and Oshawott would come in clinch to victory due to Hydreigon being part ground type. Now we can move further along through the battle. For more individual fights, I could see Electros and Pikachu having a round, perhaps Pignite and Simisage, maybe even a battle between 2 Unpheasants, and Snivy doing some damage to his Oshawott. However, Oshawott's Fury Cutter immediately takes out Snivy. So the battle is between Oshawott, Pikachu, and Hugh is able to take out Ash's and Hugh's Oshawott. However, Ash's Oshawott is still keeping up, but both of them actually end up evolving at the same time, as both of them output the same amount of power. However, Ash's Oshawott does eventually go down. So in the battle, it's between Pikachu and Duat. Now Duat is giving off an incredible show, and Hugh actually takes a picture out of Ash's book, as when Pikachu goes for a Thunderbolt, of which you would think would clinch the match, he uses both Scald Chops to reflect the Thunderbolt and land a hitting revenge, winning Hugh the battle. Ash is, devastated by the loss, but he'll get over it. I think this was a better loss than what they did in the original, because Hugh actually had 6 Pokemon in this version and wasn't presented as someone dumb, but someone just as capable as Ash. Anyways, Hugh would go on to battle Virgil and lose just as Cameron did in canon, and Virgil would go on to be the champion. Yeah, I decided to keep it the same, only because I've been changing so many stories, and sometimes we'll keep it the same for the most part. Who knows? Maybe let's have Ash lose, because I've been letting Ash win a lot in what if, so So then I would see the Team Plasma arc being his next big appearance, considering that his story is so entangled with Team Plasma. Now, while they're on the boat hunting down Team Plasma along with N, Hugh would be at one of the locations Team Plasma would be in. Now, they would naturally ask Hugh what is he doing here, and Hugh said after he went home after the Unova League, he noticed that his sister's Purloin was stolen, and he's on a mission to get it back. That is essentially what he was doing. So, he would likely become a traveling companion of the group, a temporary traveling companion, and someone Ash could spar with. But I believe that N would kind of change Hugh in a bit, because Hugh has always been this brash guy who always gets things done and does things without thinking. However, N's approach would actually have a positive influence on a guy. Get him to think about his actions before he does them, and encourage him. So at the end of the Team Plasma arc, when they all see Reshiram and he gets Purloin back, he lets Ash know that he's gonna head to the Sinnoh region, as he believes that's the best place to go to improve his skills, and he wants to enter the Sinnoh League. Ash wishes him good luck, and they part ways. And that is the end of What If Hugh was in the Pokemon anime. Yes, this was longer than last week's video, I know. I had fun writing this video, honestly. I love Hugh as a character. If you guys would like another continuation of Hugh's story to see what would Hugh do if he were to turn in Journeys, I would love to write it. I like Hugh as a character. He's probably one of my more favorite rivals. I definitely want to do Charon next, and hopefully Wally at 1.2. So remember to like, subscribe, and share if you want to see those videos. I will have more part 2s coming out in May. I know I know a lot of new stuff has been coming out, but I'll have 2 part 2s for 2 things that I know a lot of people have been wanting to see again. And I'll probably answer some questions that I didn't answer in the last parts of those videos. By the way, if you can tell what part 2 I'm talking about Ash. What if Ash caught real? What if Red was in the Pokemon anime? Just wanted to let y'all know. Anyways, remember to like, subscribe, and share. I already said that. Samurai out.